They use magnets.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Throw it out there. This topic is about why don't we use electromagnets in headphones? I've seen some speaker designs that use that. There's a name for it.
There definitely
There's a brand
Yeah,
for
there
it.
is. There is definitely.
Someone will put it in
one.
the comments.
Here we go.
You got to plug
Yeah.
the speaker in
Yeah.
it, and they actually have the. I've seen speakers that
I know it's a thing.
Yeah, have electromagnets for instead of using a permanent magnet, you power up an electromagnet, create the magnetic force, and then of course hook it up to an amplifier as usual to drive the motion of the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't see what the advantages is to that other than the weight.
Well, I know
But you still need a power supply to power the electromagnet.
that
so,
is the
It's
problem.
kind of offloading the work to the amplifier. So
yeah.
pros and cons, but overall seems mostly cons.
I think the only real benefit was like back in the day, like the 40s or something, when they didn't have good enough magnets.
Oh, that's true.
There was a time where they did that.
The old
because, yeah,
what are
didn't
they?
have-
Cobalt or iron cobalt or whatever the old
Yeah,
magnets
most
were,
of those
they're
cobalt
weak.
ones, yeah.
I mean, way
Yeah.
weaker than
Yeah.
Considerable difference.
than today's
So you can make a lot
Neodymiums.
stronger
neodymiums. Yeah.
than the magnets of the
I
day.
was trying to think of the letters of the combination. It's not coming to my brain today, but I got too many numbers in my head today. But anyway, yeah, agreed. I mean, it's that would make sense back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it could.
So it's
But there's still a
basically-
lot of challenges with that.
Yeah. Well,
It's not
well,
really
yeah.
that cut and dry. Because
Yeah.
now you got to worry about how strong do you want the field to be? How much power do you want this to be able to tolerate? Because in order for the thing to work, you need to power this electromagnet. And so you're constantly powering this electromagnet where you normally have a stationary field emanating from a permanent magnet. So you have all this heat output from this electromagnet continuously, and you got to deal with it. You got to be able to tolerate it. And I think part of the trouble there is if you're doing this purely because of the advantage of the stronger field, where do you stop?
Well, yeah.
Because now you could go crazy. You could turn it into some magnetic confinement nuclear reactor thing and just have like 84 Tesla magnetic field in the
That would
thing.
be cool.
But
You could.
like now you need to have some sort of liquid helium cooling system.
Starts to get
and
dangerous.
It starts getting tricky. So it's probably somewhere between
I
there
don't think you
and
want to put all that
practical.
shit on your head
No.
either. So.
You don't?
If you have
cool,
a leak,
though.
you'd have a real problem. The liquid nitrogen would really piss you off if it leaked.
No, liquid nitrogen,
Well,
definitely helium. You got to use
yeah.
liquid helium.
Oh,
it would also
liquid
start to
helium?
weigh a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
We're
cold?
using
How
whiz
cold
bang.
is that?
Real cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a few degrees above absolute zero,
Yeah.
I think, as I recall.
Well, that'll take the moles off your face if you.
Depends on your flow rate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you might want to wear like a hat and some mittens or something.
That could be a cool idea. I mean, maybe we should make a big headphone with a freaking liquid
Yeah.
cooler. Yeah.
Liquid cooled
cooler.
electromagnet
Okay.
headphone.
I
Maybe
don't
some
know.
blue liquid running through it.
That sounds like it would be a little expensive. to
Blue's a
operate
color,
if it was
guy
liquid
color, so
helium
it's gotta
powered.
go. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. In fact, we'll start with a permanent magnet, and we'll add
There you go.
a liquid cool, a helium cooled electromagnet to it. A superconducting.
Problem is, you need to
electromagnet.
keep
Yes,
it.
of course.
It can't be helium because they need to keep refilling the helium.
Oh.
That'd be a problem.
We'll just get some room temperature superconductors then.
Oh yeah.
I think you
Well,
buy
we
those on
already have that.
AliExpress.
We sell them all the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In fact, we own the trade, but we own a trademark on it. It's a
Okay.
superconductor.
Pop some of that in there.
Yeah, we just put some of that in there. All right,
and
we'll
just throw
we'll
like
wind
8
our own.
bazillion watts through this magnet.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's kind of. I think it gets pretty obvious why no one's using electromagnets for headphones because it's pretty complicated. We got to run a lot of current through a cable to get to the electromagnet
Yeah,
in here.
right.
Well, all you got to do is put permanent bar magnets in there or whatever, and just call it a day.
It doesn't
And,
save you much, other than the complexity of making the magnet, which in some circumstances I could see if you had this really weird design and needed a crazy magnet, maybe it's easier to
It
do
certainly ain't
electromagnet,
portable, that's for sure.
but it's not really any better.
I mean, there's no way to make it portable. There's just no good way. That would take a hell of a battery to get
Yeah. I mean, you could.
the power electromagnets.
Yeah.
the
that-
strange thing is, if you look at like electric cars, the earlier ones, once they switched away from DC motors, they moved towards permanent magnet after they started using the three-phase induction motors typically.
Yeah.
They moved towards magnet motors.
Must have
which
been more
is
efficient.
odd. Well, it
It
is,
is.
but I don't understand why that wasn't the goal out of the gates.
Yeah, tell me about
You
it.
would think instead of an induction motor, you'd be like, well, of course we'll throw a permanent magnet motor in, but I guess
Again, it must have come down to magnets. They weren't
Cost, complexity, I don't know.
Well, they didn't have the fancy whiz-bang software either that they got nowadays.
Well, that's
That
true.
You could combine magnetics and motion and all this power.
Better simulation, maybe?
Yeah, like, no question,
No doubt
Yeah,
there.
and actually
Yeah.
visualize the fields in the software. And
Yeah, because there's
crazy
actually a
shit.
lot of motor development going on right now,
Yeah,
and
well,
there's
I'll
all
bet.
kinds of new motors coming out all the
Right.
time.
And
They're all
everybody's
different.
running permanent magnet.
let me
That's
know
right.
when they get to 110% efficiency.
Oh,
I'll buy
any
one.
day
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
That's called a what was that?
Over Unity
perpetual
Perpetual
motion.
motion, yeah.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube, there's plenty of people
Oh,
that
yeah.
claim they already have it.
Yeah.
Yep. They make them out of like washing machine.
I tried that
motors
when
and
I
stuff.
was young.
Yeah.
I took a starter motor from a car, and I pulleys, and I hooked it up to 2 alternators from a car.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
a
I
great
had
idea.
switches so that I could instantly switch from the starter motor spinning the alternators to the alternators feeding the starter motor. And every time I hit the switch, it died.
That's weird.
And I learned that you can't. I didn't realize at the time because, of course, it was I was young. But
Yeah.
I didn't realize the fact that you can't do that.
Oh.
That you have a higher loss than you have generated.
Could be a
power.
big government conspiracy.
Yeah,
though.
I know, but yeah, for a minute there, I thought I was hoping that when I flicked the switch and switched the power away from the battery running the motor to the
You thought it would
alternators
work.
running the motor, that it would just keep running.
keep doing this.
Yeah, but no, it didn't work.
Oh, friction and such.
Didn't even work for a split second.
You know what someone should try? Wind turbine on the roof of an EV,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Then the
Oh,
wind from
yeah.
driving charges
That's not a
itself.
bad idea.
Infinite motion.
Yeah,
perfect.
Somebody needs to patent that.
yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Too bad
Yeah.
these things don't work.
Yeah, no, they don't really work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shocking, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, because if they did, someone would be doing it.
So it kind of seems like we're at the point where that's effectively where an electromagnetic powered headphone is, or really even speakers. The advantages are not really present. Maybe in extreme circumstances, but a magnet works really good.
Well, especially in a speaker, because
Very good.
weight is not an issue. Size isn't
Right.
really an issue. So,
Right.
yeah, for the most part.
For the
With
most-
headphones, but
Yeah.
The weight savings you would get seems very insignificant compared to the additional complexity, and now you have to have some sort of auxiliary power supply off board.
Yep.
Not to
I'm
mention,
not seeing it.
you could look at the size of the woofers in some of these baller subwoofers, the baskets and the magnet
Yeah.
structures. I mean, to replicate that in an electromagnet, you probably need 100 amps of current or something like that. I don't even know what it would take, but it would take a hell of a lot of windings of wire.
Probably.
It would take a fair bit of
You
power,
know?
and it takes it entire time the thing is sitting there idle. Now, I presume you could come up with some fancy whiz-bang active electronics that would only power the electromagnet when it's required to drive the
Yeah.
woofer,
Yeah, switching
and
power
then
supplies
it wouldn't
and
be
all
quite
that.
so bad, but
But then you're
magnets
also
are pretty good.
You're also introducing, if you are using electromagnets for the fixed magnet, you're introducing any noise that thing's
Yeah,
picking
just
up with
thinking
the
about
power
that,
supply
yeah.
into the sound of it. You can't avoid that because the noise is going to make it
Yep.
move at that rate too.
Yep.
So
Right.
you got to rectify it and filter it. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, magnets
you
are very quiet.
know? Yeah.
well, they're very stable.
Yeah, they're
And-
stable.
And relatively cheap compared to all that.
Well, yeah.
A power supply, a huge coil of wire, and all
Yeah.
that's
Well,
involved.
for
with it.
getting stability in the magnetic field, because in that application, an acoustic application, stability is very, very critical.
Yeah, right.
That would be very difficult. to
Especially
get it
at
to be
our
extremely
level.
stable.
At our level, you vary the mag field a little bit, and you vary the sound of the driver.
Yeah, because effectively what you have is in any driver, you have an electromagnet. The actual coil, the trace on the planar magnetic headphone, that is an electromagnet. When it's getting powered from the amplifier, it's reacting against the stationary magnet, the permanent magnet.
And causing motion.
Push, pull, whatever, move
Yeah.
the diaphragm. So if one of the fields changes relative to the other,
Or even
you get
moves
apparent
or
motion.
varies over time.
right.
Yeah, you're varying how the driver is going to react to
Yep.
it too.
So if you're a permanent magnet, in this case an electromagnet, if that changes at all, you're going to get a change in the sound.
Fortunately, permanent
So it
magnets
needs to be
really
very,
don't
very
change.
stable. Permanent magnets are incredibly stable.
Yeah,
right?
they sit there for.
They don't bounce around or whatever with
I
line
don't know
noise.
if there's a longevity to a permanent magnet. I've never seen one
Depends on the application.
give up.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
heat, high heat.
Sure. Well, that's abuse.
Yeah.
Hammers will do it
Hammers.
too.
Yeah.
Yes. Over most practical, useful lives, there's no issues with
Yeah,
stability.
it's pretty good how that material holds well.
Yes.
Some are better than others, obviously.
Below the Curie temperature.
Right.
Yes. Madame Curie came up with that one, which varies depending on the material that the magnet is made of.
Oh, it doesn't know.
It's actually a low temperature.
It's not that high. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it, like 150 or so? Fahrenheit, something? Not even?
Fahrenheit.
Depends
No,
on the
no.
material.
It depends very much on the material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60, 70 Cs, kind of a good number to keep it under.
Yeah, so like
100 might be what you see commonly, but it
Yeah.
depends on the magnet, depends on the strength,
Yeah.
depends on how much you could accept to lose.
It doesn't take a lot of heat really for a magnet to just bink.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, we do that when we recycle our. If we get some magnets and we don't want to just throw them in a dumpster. They'll stay.
Stick
They'll
to the
never.
dumpster.
Yeah, they'll never let go of the dumpster.
Yeah.
So we throw them in the oven and a couple hundred degrees and bink, they're dead. They're
Yep.
just metal. And we can throw them wherever. We use them as paperweights.
No.
But yeah, you don't want a magnet like ours just sitting around
Yeah,
somewhere.
no, it's pretty dangerous.
Sooner or later, you're going to
Yeah.
get yourself
Yeah.
in some
Dumpster
trouble
filled with
there.
them.
Yeah. If we keep throwing these out and they're just all stuck to the side.
Well,
it
even
means
you just use them around here for like paperweights and stuff. They're very dangerous as they're in their current form. You know?
Flying everywhere, yeah.
Yeah,
it,
so.
it used to be scarier when we first started dealing with them.
That's true.
Now you're kind of used to how they,
Yeah, it's kind of wild how that is.
I remember initially I was like,
It
oh
was
man.
like dynamite.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
geez, don't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
get anything near this. Don't get a tool near it. Don't get it near your pacemaker.
Now just like,
Ah.
yeah.
Yeah, all
It's
right.
kind of fun, the sparks you get off them when they collide, though.
Yes.
You throw a bunch of them together. Sometimes when they break, they give you a nice spark.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
kind
cool.
of exciting.
Yeah. Did you ever look up what that phenomenon is? How's it do
No.
that? Yeah, I never figured
It's,
out either.
oh, it's like those breath mints.
Yeah.
Those
It's
spark
like
too.
that, yeah.
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 Well, they
It's
got
electric or
magnets in
something, I
them.
don't know.
No, they don't have magnets in them.
Quartz.
I don't know what's in them, but something.
Oh,
Yeah, you go in a room,
flint.
then you chew on them in a mirror, and
Yeah.
they spark.
Yeah. See, that sounds like there's an invention in that somewhere. You know, if you just.
It's already invented.
Well,
It's a
yeah, no, I
mint.
mean like a toy or something.
Oh.
No, not that you want to give kids magnet pieces. But
No.
they tried that once; it didn't work
Yeah,
out.
I know,
They ate the
yeah.
magnetic balls, and
Yeah.
it caused a bit of an
Yeah,
issue in their
that's-
intestines. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
they don't
problem.
sell those
Yeah.
toys anymore.
Mm.
Yeah,
Kids do like eating things, don't they?
yeah, they're kind of good at that. So do dogs too. So
Yeah, well,
they're
they
gonna-
figured, we'll cover them in plastic. How bad can it be, right?
Yeah, they're right.
Mm,
Yeah, that didn't work out too good. Oh my god. Yeah. So I guess we kind of figured out why we're not using electromagnets for anything to
Well,
create audio.
Yeah, for audio.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
still use them for those recycling things,
Mm.
Recycle things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, to pick up
stuff
ferrous material
Yeah,
in like
that's
a
cool.
junkyard or something.
Yeah.
You want to lift up a car.
That's where we use them.
Yeah, how many
Drop
eyes
an
are running
electro-
through those coils, man? They got
2
That's a hell of a
million.
hell of an
I don't know, a
alternator.
lot.
Yeah, because they're just generator powered, right? They're just
Yeah.
big machines with motors
Yeah.
running, just creating shit ton of watts to drive an electromagnet.
I don't know, they're probably like 50 kilowatt or something like that.
In fact, when they turn them off, doesn't it still kind of hold the charge? It's kind of
Well, they're
Probably.
designed to minimize that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yes.
so won't let go of the car.
Well, cars are heavy, so
Usually they're
probably,
heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you do
it's
get
true.
some junk still stuck on it.
Yeah,
A
right.
little residual. Maybe they like reverse bias it when you turn it off.
Could be. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, if you like this video, there's a button to click down there to subscribe to see future content like this. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And thanks for watching.
Take care.